What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Financial Fitness Friday. We're going to outline how to make sure you crush your 25 goals, right? And this isn't like the shit that you hear. This is going to be stuff that you need to hear and actually need to do, okay? And I think that the last, call it 4 years, have been challenging and tough for everybody. I did a show yesterday that's going to come out in about 2 weeks that we talked about the economy, right? What's going on and how this is very similar to 2009. Even though the markets are up, the actual economics and the average American is not doing all that well, right? So what are the steps that we can take to ensure that the next 4 years, and specifically starting off 25, that you crush it and get back on track? And if you are crushing it, how to, take what you have and multiply that so you can have your best year ever in 25. All right. So these are some basic things, guys, but they're very important. All right. I'm going to let Dave start off because I'm going to talk about it and then I'll let Dave finish. But the first thing guys should be doing is working on credit. Okay. If you don't have 700 plus credit, and that is the number I'm saying, 700. Okay. You need to work towards that. Here's why. All right. Credit markets have been tighter lately, very tight. Financing has been way more expensive. It's actually back to where it is historically, but it's way more expensive than what we have been used to in most of our lifetimes. Okay. And this is someone that entered the workforce in 2007, 2006, like full time. So credit is a main driver. Dave, what do you have on that?
Yeah, number one, be aware, right? Start getting into the habit of taking a look at it every 30 days. You don't have to do it every day. Take a look at it every 30 days. It's not going to update like that, So keep that in mind. All three major bureaus, you can get access to them. It always starts with awareness, right? Know where you're at. Just like when we talk about stats in business or anything else, when you're looking at KPIs and your quote unquote whiteboard stats, do the same thing with credit. Know where you're at. Number two, get any revolving trade lines paid down or paid off as soon as possible. The reason being is 30% of your credit score. And for every dollar you borrow on a revolving trade line, your score is going to go down. And especially if you're in business, stop using personal credit cards. Okay. Can't stress that enough. Get that shit off of your personal credit report ASAP.
Let me just interject real quick.
Sure.
On the revolving side, guys, the businesses, I'm not telling you to keep large balances on your lines of credit. However, that isn't going to impact you as much as it would on the personal side. So if you're a business owner sitting with a lot of personal cards, you don't have a line of credit, here's your invitation to reach out to me, get a line of credit, and move those balances around. Okay, it will be better in the long run for you, and your credit score will go way up. Okay, it's not that bad to have those balances on business. It is on personal. Okay, it's just how the scoring system works. The other thing that Dave wasn't going to touch on, but I will, is get your business credit built. If you don't have it built or you don't have business credit, now's the time. Dave, keep going.
Yeah, buddy. One thing I will make you guys aware, because I've heard it happen from a lot of people, just people I know in general, right? Reaching out saying, hey, can this happen? Guys, the creditors are if you're pushing limits, even if you pay them in full every month, these companies are watching. They're not sitting on the sidelines. So especially now, if you're at a certain utilization point just on one credit card, not your overall picture, they're gonna reevaluate that every month, every 60 days, or every 90 days, depending on what they do. They're gonna do soft pulls. They're gonna see where you're at. And a lot of times what's happening is if you're creeping on that max limit, right? If you're creeping on that, they're going to deduct you down to whatever you owe. Therefore, it's going to make your utilization higher. It's probably going to max you out. And now you're in a really world of shit, because now you have maxed out cards. You got to figure out how to pay these down. You're probably going to get rocked on interest, and it's happening a lot. And then now what's going to happen too is you're also going to become kind of unlendable, right? Like, Jonathan, if you look at somebody's report and you see 4 or 5 cards, even if they're not super huge, but they're all maxed out, it's not about the money, it's about the habits. And that doesn't look good on a lending standpoint. So
No.
Yes, I cannot stress get these revolving lines paid down as much as possible. It's the biggest problem out there.
Yeah, and I'm going to back up what he just said. All right. On the show last night, I had a 7-figure plus earner, at least 7-figure plus earner on. Great dude. And he just said that he asked me a question on the show. He goes, "Hey, I don't want to interview you, but are you seeing, people lose their lines? Are you seeing people get their cards cut or their limits cut?" And I said, "Yes, this happened in 2008. It's happening now. And it's something that people have to be mindful of." So Dave's hitting this right on the head, guys. And that's somebody that has 800 credit, massive earnings, okay? And they cut his cards. And so what happens is when they cut your card or they cut the limit down, it really does negatively impact your credit. So watch out for that.
Yeah. Last thing I'll leave you with this in terms of credit to kind of look out for. And I noticed this trend before. And it's usually, not to get political, but it follows the trend of what's happening in the world of politics too. Well, economy's bad, there's a change, there's a shift. Notice this over the last 4 years, and you talk to a lot of people, credit card offers have declined a lot too. You probably won't see as many offers in the mail. And if your utilization is high, you're not going to see offers for new credit cards at all. You're going to start seeing offers for loans to consolidate all this stuff. So again, they're watching. So you see a shift in the mail and the offers that they're giving you. And I'll give you an example now. Now that there's been a change in the political scene, you're starting to see some of this stuff ramp up again, starting to see some offers. So they're projecting some things down the road. It's slow, it's coming there, but that gives you an idea of where this credit crunch or credit crisis is just on mail, just by keeping an eye on little factors of that.
Yep. And guys, here's the other parts of this, right? I could give you investing strategies, but everybody is starting from a different point. Okay. So what's more important isn't so much that you have the earning potential of these 7 and 8-figure players, right? You'll get there. What's more important is having the processes and the systems, okay, and the habits of 7, 8, 9-figure earners. Not just earners, but people that have that type of wealth. All right. The main difference is how they spend and how they turn living below their means, okay, for a consistent period of time into real wealth building. All right. And here's what they're doing. Here's what this means. If you're making, and we've gone over this in the past, but it's so important, we'll do it again. If you're making, let's say, $10,000 a month, you have to have the right allocations of that money to actually do anything, right? So I would try to keep my fixed costs, meaning mortgage, everything else that you can, under, let's say, $3,000. Okay. Then you want your variable costs maybe to be another 15%. Okay. So between those, you're at 45%. All right. If you can keep fixed and variable costs below 50%, and then you can have 25% go into savings and 25% go into investing, you are already 99% ahead of everybody else. You are in that 1%. Why? Because most people don't prioritize that. Most people don't have those habits. All right. And so the other thing I would tell you is once the savings account hits 6 months of your fixed expenses, or if you want to go crazy, 6 months of your fixed and variable expenses, right? Then what you need to do is start rolling that over into investing. Okay. And then just invest in things that you know and things that you're sure about on a weekly basis. Don't even let the money sit in your account. Make it automatically go into these investments. That's what I've done. It's really made a big difference. And by the way, guys, if you're sitting there and saying, all right, that's great, but what do I do for my company? All right. I have a show coming out this coming week of showing you guys how I did something similar with my company. And I was able to get a 300% return on real money. Okay. And I mean real money. All right. And it's just adopting these habits. It's making them just part of your everyday life where you don't even think about them. Okay. I'm not a genius. I just work very hard and I just work through a lot of problems. All right. And this is what I found. If I'm strict with these metrics and I hold to these metrics, I know that I will get where I want to go. All right. So guys, I hope this helped you. Dave, this was a good one. Thank you, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And listen, we'll catch you guys on Mindset Monday. Appreciate you. Take care.
Be great, y'all.